Hey guys, thanks very much for coming back to Massage Therapy Marketing Tips. Today we're going to talk about mentorship coaching. How do you do it? Where do you find them? What works for you? Okay, the first thing you need to understand about choosing a mentor or coach is how do you do it? Where do you find them? What works for you? And I would ask yourself to take some time and figure out where are you weakest at? What would bring you most value in opening up your eyes to certain things? And the key is if you go to something you're weakest at, it's going to push you in a direction that you're not comfortable with. And that's the point of mentorship and coaching. It's not to build a friendship. That's key. If you're building a friendship, watch out. It's going to be like social coffee hour, and you're going to realize at some point, what are we doing here? So you want to pick someone that's going to push you and make you feel uncomfortable and make you realize that, hey, there are goals out there that you've set and you want to achieve. So that's how I'd look at, say, how do I find a mentor? Find someone that's got the ability to push you in a direction you're not comfortable with. Okay, 2, what to expect. Now, it's kind of like 1, and it's going to be kind of like 3, but it's an important thing to remember is that what are the expectations of the relationship? So you might say to yourself, hey, I want to get a mentorship because I want to go in the direction, and I'll just make something up. I want to be an absolute master at pregnancy massage, or a master at sports, or a master at whatever it is you want to be a master at. Fantastic. That's the expectation, right? Write that down. And I would clarify, what does it mean to be a master? Does it mean that 80% of your practice is full with that type of clientele? Is it that you're making X amount of dollars? Is it that you're taking X amount of courses? I don't know what it means to you, but I assure you what it means to me and what it means to you are very different, and what it means to the mentor or coach is very different. And that's why the clarity of your expectations is crucial, right? Write it down. If the mentor isn't asking you when you approach them what your expectations are or the guidelines, that's going to be another indication that, I don't know, is that the right person? Because you want a clear path to success. Again, they're not your friends. They're there to make you feel uncomfortable and achieve and guide you in areas that you don't feel good in, right? So that's why it's so important. Write those expectations out. Okay, the third thing is, and this is, again, very important as you progress, how do you value the relationship? So there's a few ways to look at it, but let's go one way. What are you getting out of the relationship? But also, what are you giving into the relationship? So if you're paying for it, well, then you'd say, well, I'm paying for this relationship. Fair enough. That's excellent. But then if you're getting mentored, what are you getting? And again, look at the expectations. Look at what you expect to get from the relationship. If you're not getting it, and when you write your expectations, put timelines to it. So financial is an easy one, or let's say number of clients in your practice. Those are very objective. So if you say, when I get to $100,000 in this area, I have met my goal, reached the expectation. Double thumbs up. Or when I'm 80% full, I've reached my expectations. Then you can clearly value how the relationship is going. And make sure to be open with your mentor. Because I assure you, a great mentor isn't cheap. But you gotta realize they've spent a quarter of a century or whatever. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars losing and making money. They have a wide, vast network to draw from to support you. That isn't cheap, right? That's ridiculous. So do not think that you're going to go, oh, I'm going to go find a bottom dollar person to help me out. Don't do that. Go find someone that meets your expectations, pay a very, if it's purely financial, pay a very good fee for that service, but also make sure you're valuing it, because if you don't get there, it could be quite simply that you don't like being pushed in that direction. And I'll give an example. I worked with someone and I was pushing her in the direction because she set some financial goals. It turned out at the end of the day, she was really uncomfortable, and finances made her very, scared's a strong term. I would say just, it made her uncomfortable. And she would rather hide in the woods about thinking about, oh, but what about the service I'm providing? And when I kept moving her in that direction, because that's what she wrote down, there was a massive block. And even though we kept working on it, it came to a point I'm like, you honestly don't want to achieve that expectation you wrote down. And we got to a point where it's just like, you're right. And again, look at all these things and be honest with yourself. The honesty in everything you do is essential. And absolutely, when you get to a massage therapy mentorship relationship, boy, the honesty, the most upfront, the most you have written down is going to make that thing sustainable and ultimately the most rewarding for you. So guys, get out there, take action. Can't wait to see what happens. See you in the next video.